What's up guys, and welcome to this video. And this video I will be comparing all of these speakers right here. I will actually do it a bit different. I will do the same intro for all of these speakers, and then I will do a separate video for each comparison. In this comparison we are comparing these speakers right here to the one in the middle, the Earfun Uboom X. So we'll do the Soundcore Motion Boom Plus, the Teufel Rockster Cross, the BoomBox 2, the BoomBox 3, and then I will have a separate conclusion for each of them. All of these comparisons will have the same layout. I will do one song at lower volumes at closer distances. I will then do a song at around 80% volume or matching their volumes off axis, and then I will step back a bit further and do 100% at on axis, so you can really see the difference in the loudness and not necessarily hear the quality difference. That will be more of in the 80% off axis category. So hopefully you guys enjoy these videos. We'll see when I upload them. It's going to be a lot of work editing them together, but without any further ado, I'm gonna hear the song 5 times in a row, so I might be clinically insane after this, but we'll see what happens. I hope you guys enjoy the video.
I can't find my way back to you till you make amends with the demons you've been through. I can't regret leaving you alone till you find your way back home. Find your way back home. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Don't let me drown. Till you find your way back home. find your way back home. don't involve money that I don't accept. Like this.
Okay, so I'm sitting here pondering over these two speakers, and I'm thinking to myself, what really is the difference here? And yeah, there are definitely quite a lot of key feature takeaways here. The number one here is the price, and that is gonna be the deciding factor. The Uboom X here, you get for 160 bucks, 160 euros or less. I got it for exactly 160, but that's because I had to import it. It was actually cheaper, but when import costs and all that jazz, it was 160 bucks. Well, the BoomBox is 300, 400 or 500 or even more dollars or euros or whatever. So it's quite pricey. I got it for 300, around 300 bucks. So I got it for quite cheap price. I got the BoomBox for the same price as two Uboom X's. So if this speaker can be equivalent to the BoomBox, it just wins. And in this case, I think it is. Bass-wise, I think the BoomBox 3 has a more deep bass, which sounds pretty lovely, especially at around 80% volume. But when you push them to the maximum volume, the sharpness in the mids gets overwhelmed, and the BoomBox, whilst the Uboom X just keeps pushing everything. The Earfun struggles quite a bit at 100% volume with distortion, and you could mix up the EQs, which I did. I used the EQ that I think is the best at 100% volume, which is the outdoor EQ. The Outdoor Plus or the Boom XXX that I used in the lower volumes, if you push them to maximum volume, they tend to distort too much for my liking, and they don't sound good. I think it struggles a bit as well at 100%, but it's a more honest sound than you get with the BoomBox 3. The BoomBox 3 has more compression, and also it doesn't increase the bass. Whilst the Uboom, even though it struggles increasing that bass, it tries to, at least, even though you can get distortion depending on which EQ you choose. It charges via USB-C. The BoomBox charges via AC adapter, which is, or just an AC cord, which is annoying. The BoomBox has slightly bigger battery, not by a lot, but about 15 watt hours. I think this one is around 44, 45 watts, if I'm not mistaken. and the BoomBox is 60 watt hours. So it's a bigger battery. Both of them float in water. Both of them are IP67 waterproof and dustproof. This one weighs 4 kilos. The BoomBox weighs 6.7. So there's quite a big weight difference as well. This one is way more portable. The BoomBox is not as portable. Yeah, let's discuss the sound at lower volumes. At lower volumes, I think the Boom Earfun here is quite nice. I generally think the treble is the highlight, and the bass especially, honestly, that you can, with the standard EQs, you get quite good bass. But there are some caveats here, some improvements rather. It's a cheap build, you can feel that when you play with the speaker, and they have compromised with the build to get the best sound and the best battery life, which is totally fair. And the BoomBox is of course a way more premium build. However, the Earfun, I think, sounds a bit boxy. I will say that. I think it doesn't sound as wide as it is big, but it sounds really, really good. And if you want to open up the sound, push the outdoor EQ and you will get a bit more airiness. I think the indoor EQs are very directional, so when you go off axis or you're not directly in front of the speaker, it does not sound that great. But outdoor EQs is quite nice. However, I think it still sounds a bit boxy on the boxier side, while I think the JBL BoomBox sounds wider. And that is, of course, lovely to hear when you're listening to these speakers. And also there's another thing I want with the Earfun. I think the Earfun, I love the EQs, Oluf's EQs, they're very good. However, there is one thing. Too many EQs, way too many EQs. If I have to choose EQ for every time I want to listen, which I do, because I want to get used the product for I want to get my bang for my buck. I want to use it at its full potential. I have to use the EQs and change them depending where I am or how I'm sitting or whatnot. I just want a solid EQ. And I usually go for the Boom XXX, but sometimes that is not always what you want. It's slightly too much boost. And you could go and make your own EQ, but I think they're selling you on the concept that you get the EQs included, then you don't have to change, kind of. And by far the best EQs, of course, don't go for the default. I haven't even tried them, or I've tried them a little bit. Very underwhelming, the default Earfun EQs. So go with all of ones. They are definitely a lot better, but there's too many. I will say that. I think he has fitted in all the scenarios. Very cool EQs. That I cannot blame. I probably made the best from the situation, you know, what you got handed the cards. But too many EQs. That is it. But it doesn't matter. It still sounds a lot better. And also, gotta give them some more credit with all of EQs. It changes the volume very slightly at the first around to 80% volume. Then it increases the volume really drastically. So that means you can really fine-tune the volume at lower volumes, which I think is great if you're a low-volume listener, which I am. You know, if you're up at night, for example, and you want just a little bit of music in the background. Whilst the BoomBox has a lot more sharper steps, so it increases the volume a lot more when you go up the steps in the volume. So it's a bit more linear, whilst the Earfun is more exponential, which I think is the better way of tuning the speaker. The lights, nice. I like the white lights. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a nice addition, I guess. Yeah, I think they're nice. I think the Earfun is just a really good package. And yeah, if it's this price difference here, Earfun is the way to go. It's just that easy. I think the BoomBox has some qualities that the Earfun lacks, but with the sound especially, and just you get so much with the USB-C and the portability, and it's quite close to giving you a BoomBox sound at maximum volume, a pretty big sound with other words. I think it's a slam dunk. I think the Earfun is the clear winner here. Then again, The JBL ecosystem is quite heavy. As you can see, I have 2 flip 6s. You could connect them, whilst you can only connect up to 20 Earfun's Uboom X's, whilst you can connect a hell of a lot of JBL speakers to get an even more immersive sound. And you can, of course, do the same. I will make a 2 versus 2 later on. I will see whenever I get time for that. However, thank you guys for watching, and this conclusion has been way too long. But take care, and see you in the next one. Cheers.